Welcome to the PHLY Flyers postgame show presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. We are live in the Xfinity studio. My name is Steve Jaco. I am your assistant to the director of fun and games, not Bizarro Bill Matz, despite what you might have heard on pregame. It is just a complete lie and not true at all. But
erroneous.
Unfortunately, your Philadelphia Flyers fell 3-2 to the Colorado Avalanche today. But you know what? We're going to have a lot of fun today on postgame. And joining me is the most fun person I know, the wonderful and talented Kelly Hinkle. Kelly, what did you think about the game today?
First of all, that can't be true.
It's very true.
Second of all, you know what? Honestly, solid effort from the boys. Much better result than I think most of us were expecting heading into this game.
I have to agree. We were talking about this in pregame. We're looking at the Avalanche, a team with 2 regulation losses, just juggernaut. You know, they have Nathan MacKinnon, who is I would say, one of maybe the 2 best players in the game.
Yeah.
You know, Tim McDavid,
The best.
you can throw some other guys in there, but MacKinnon is up there. He is just elite, and I think he got another point today, right? An assist, I believe. But yeah, McKinnon's just unbelievable. Their goaltending has been solid. Their penalty kill is fantastic. This is a game that you look and you see things like Sam Ersson is starting. You see that Nick Seeler's on the top pairing. You think the Flyers are going to get smoked in this game, but they lose 3-2. Actually had a lot of opportunities to tie this up. They played a great third period, really, really good third period.
Yeah, that shot total looking as even as it doesn't really tell the whole story because the Flyers were way behind on shots for over half the game.
Yeah.
And it was really in the third period that they really poured it on.
In the first period, Colorado outshot them 12-3. 12-3. Yes, you were reading that right.
Not a great start.
Second period, 13-9. And then in the third period, the Flyers outshoot the Avalanche 13-3. So they reverse it basically the first period.
They were unbelievable in the third period. They were all over the Avalanche. And you mentioned it before we started here. If it's any other team, any lesser team than the Colorado Avalanche, the Flyers absolutely win that game in the third period.
Yeah, they were pouring it on.
Yes.
They had so many good opportunities. And you know why they were in that position? We're gonna talk about today's game changer, which is driven by Elkins Chevrolet. And that's going to be Travis Konecny, who really just, after a terrible first period.
So
People
bad.
We're talking about just how lousy TK's first period was. TK went full jerk store for the rest of the game, ends up with 20-40 time on ice, 1 goal, almost had a second, but that first goal was so energizing. And he came right back and almost got a almost identical second goal. He was on like a little, I think he threw a toe drag in there, went 5-hole in that first goal, tried to do it again. Blackwood shut him down that time. But you know, he was everywhere. And am I reading that shot total right? Is that 8 shots on goal?
8 shots on goal, buddy.
Woo!
Not bad.
That's the only woo we're given for this game today is the number of shots that TK had out there, which is 5 more than the next Flyer. 5 more.
Which after that first period is wild because I thought after the first period that we were going to spend at least 20 minutes of this post game talking like what the heck is going on with Travis Konecny because he was not even just like invisible in the first period. He was actively bad. I think he had 2, maybe 3 really glaring turnovers.
He ends up with 4 giveaways on the day.
Yeah, okay, just like a really, really bad first period from Travis Konecny. And it's almost like he got his phone out during intermission and read all the tweets and was like, oh, no, I can't allow this to stand whatsoever because it's all anyone was talking about on social media was like, what is going on with Travis Konecny? The second and the third, he was outstanding, one of the Flyers' best players.
The TK edition of mean tweets, he's just reading the mean tweets in intermission. Get rid of the intermission, Joe. I just want to see the players read the mean tweets about them on the intermission. But yeah, whatever happened with TK, 8 shots on goal is outstanding. Absolutely the main factor that the Flyers were so involved in that game in the second half. And it's a shame they didn't tie it up because they really were in it. It was exciting at the end of that game. Like it was a really thrilling and maybe not the last minute after they pulled the goaltender, but they really I don't know. I was just impressed by the way this team held it together when they were down 3-1.
Yeah.
That's where I really started to worry this game was going to get out of hand.
Me too. Yeah.
I thought, no way they are going to pull this out. No way are they going to, really just pull it together. And then I'm just looking over right now, just all the goals. So the Avalanche, so the game starts great.
Yeah.
Sean Couturier gets that goal,
Initial goal,
which
yeah.
fantastic. He got a birthday goal,
Happy
which
birthday.
I didn't realize it was TK's 33rd birthday today, or that would have been one of the pregame bets. It would have been TK to score or not TK, Coots, yeah.
Coots.
So I would have 100% had Coots scoring if I had realized it was his birthday. But Coots' 33rd birthday, 900th NHL game, I believe.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, which puts him right up there in Flyers history. He'll soon surpass Bill Barber, and which is unbelievable. We've been watching Sean Couturier for so long. I still think back to this old man at this game I went to, the one game where I scammed my way into a photography pass for the press coverage.
I love that.
And oh my God, I just had like the dinkiest camera, and I'm sitting there at the corridors like, yeah, I'm snapping pictures. I'm a pro. But I just remember this man, it was a Coyotes game. And I remember this guy going, Couturier, what does he do? And now we're talking about a guy who's going to be third most games played in Flyers history, a captain of the team. He's just had a fantastic Flyers career. I know we're all frustrated by that contract and just all the injuries he's had and everything, but like he's still, I mean, he's Sean Couturier, right? He brings the warm and fuzzies up in your heart.
Yeah, Sean Couturier's contract is not hamstringing this team whatsoever.
Oh, there's plenty of things hamstringing this team, and it's not Sean Couturier's contract at the moment. But that was a nice start. You know, Juulsen has that big slapper, which I was not expecting.
Juulsen had an incredible start to the game, I will say.
Not so much after the first 10 minutes, but that
incredible
first 10
start
minutes was
to
good.
the game. I was like, wait, how is Noah Juulsen getting so many shots on net? But all right.
He had two really good offensive chances in the first period. So but the Flyers can't score early. That's what we've learned, is the Flyers score early, they lose. It's just bad news when the Flyers score early. They need to come from behind, okay? They can't start up ahead. It's just
how they like to do it.
It's a mistake. It's a big mistake. So they start up ahead. Juulsen and Tippett get the assists on the Couturier goal. But then Juulsen, I believe, takes the penalty that puts the Avalanche on the power play. Little ticky-tacky, but overall I think it's pretty clear it's a trip at the end of the day. Brent Burns, who is immortal, I guess.
Yeah. Another guy having a big game.
What do you think? He's wearing 84 right now.
That's a weird number.
Yeah, thank you.
Very weird number.
Yeah. Thought it was a very weird number.
Yeah.
And Brent Burns scores, and then, actually, you know what? No, that wasn't the power play goal. My apologies. Brent Burns scores, and then Brock Nelson scores on the power play.
Yeah, he put them ahead by 2-1. Yeah.
A guy who knows a thing or two about scoring against the Flyers, ultimately.
He's got a lot of time playing against the Flyers.
Yeah.
Obviously, former Islanders player.
Gross. Absolutely
I feel like
gross.
we see the Islanders 47 times a season is what it feels like.
Yeah.
But yeah.
At least they're a little less boring now.
That's true.
I feel like in the past 2 years, since Lou left, right?
Yeah.
Lou and Barry Trott's gone, the Islanders magically become more exciting. Who would have thought?
Interesting.
But Brock Nelson scores, of course he does, with McKinnon and McCarr getting assists. They were going to get points. They absolutely were. And then Valeri Nichuskin. Nichuskin, thank you. I always have trouble with this one. My bad, but he scores with Olofsson and Taves assisting on that. But then that TK goal comes in.
Yeah.
And that was your shining light in the dark. That was what drew us back into that game. And from there on, it felt pretty good in that game. I really thought they were going to tie it up. I thought we were headed for the Destiny shootout matchup where the Flyers would win. Yeah.
I was 100% like, oh no, I jinxed myself. It's going to overtime.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the Flyers had I think that you could kind of see it on Tocchet's face when the Avs went up 3-1. He had that look of kind of like, oh boy, here we go. And we kind of talked about it during the game, that was the point at which you were kind of like, oh, here it comes.
Oh boy,
here
we
comes the Avalanche. Yeah, but the Flyers held it together. They got that TK goal to get them right back in the game. And then after that, it was all Flyers against a team that they have no business dominating in any way.
Absolutely no business dominating. And just as we said, dominant third period, but we're going to get into all of that very shortly. Let's hit our first ad break. The other day, I'm over at a friend's place. He's pumped to watch hockey, but the setup, total mess. Lagging, buffering, switching between apps, trying to find the game. He claimed he was a big fan, but I feel like I've been fan-fished. See, if you call yourself a football or hockey fan, you gotta have Xfinity. It's the ultimate sports destination. I can find the best games and my favorite teams all in one place. And the way I watch, next level. It's the perfect fan flex. I've got all the action right in my living room. Plus, Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K. So clear, it feels like I'm in the arena. Sometimes I've got 4 games going at once because why not? On top of that, I get real-time notifications and live stats right on my TV. It's the best seat in my house every time. Next game day, make sure that big fan isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box. And I got to talk to you about Togo. Do you really want Matvei Michkov playing goalie? No, it's not worth the risk, time, or money. You keep your stars focused on doing what they do best. The same goes for your business. You don't want your top people buried in operations, the tedious, time-consuming, redundant activities that wear the team down. Togo can help any business looking to reduce operating costs, become more efficient, or unlock more time for their best people. From customer service and accounting to order management, logistics, administration, data entry, and even complex multi-step operational processes, we take it off your plate at a fraction of the cost. Every engagement starts with free process mapping and engineering. No cost, no commitment. We don't bill a dime until the real work begins. And with programs starting as low as $1,000 a month, you're not going to break the bank. Each Togo program includes dedicated staff, custom automations, and US-based process engineers who act as your quarterback, giving you complete control and instant efficiency. At Togo, you call the plays, we execute. Visit harnesstogo.com. Scale smarter, work faster, and stay focused on winning. All right, well, in a few minutes, we had the best in the biz, Charlie O'Connor, joining us to talk about this game. Very excited, as always, to talk to Charlie. But in the meantime, let's talk about Trevor Zegras, because we're talking about TK giving the Flyers a great opportunity to tie this game up. They really brought them back into the game. And I think there was no more prime opportunity in this game than Trevor Zegras, who gets a chance with a penalty shot in the third period. We were all pumped. You know, I did the old on my Blue Sky post. I did like the alerts, right? And I was oh, it's a Trevor Zegras shootout attempt. Let's go. And you think because Trevor Zegras is the absolute master of the shootout, that
literally the best.
Absolutely the best. That you'd think a penalty shot, right, is a given.
It's the same thing.
The last time he had one of these was the Blues game a few weeks ago, and I was at the bar with a bunch of BSH people for that, which was a wonderful experience. And I remember Ryan Quigley, my Flyperbole co-host, going, oh, this is a given.
Yeah.
He's going to score this, no doubt about it. And he didn't. And the same thing happened today where he goes in and he had a great breakaway attempt. It was the right call to give him the penalty shot. But then Zegras does not complete it. And, you know, overall, a decent game for Zegras. He ends up with 2 shots on goal, 19-30. But he's now 0 for 3 in penalty shots. And wild. Again, like... the Flyers should have tied this game up. Really good job of Mackenzie Blackwood today and the Colorado Avalanche defense. But, like, ultimately, like, Zegras, I don't know. You want to see him make this, and it's really disappointing that he didn't.
Yeah, it's definitely a bummer that he didn't. But just, like, to rewind a little bit to what led to that shootout. Or, not shootout.
I keep saying shootout, too. It's hard not to.
Yeah. It's the same thing, whatever.
Whatever.
So, Trevor Zegras is not a big dude. He is, in fact, small. Nathan MacKinnon, one of the strongest guys in the league, for sure. Like, you know how we always joke about how Jalen Hurts can squat 600 pounds or whatever? I feel like Nathan MacKinnon can probably squat 600 pounds. He's a very big and strong man, and also quite fast. The fact that Zegras was able to hold off getting absolutely mugged by Nathan MacKinnon behind him to still control that puck and get the shot off, like, that was an incredibly impressive play from a guy that is just not that large.
I'll have you know, Kelly Hinkle, that these men are the same height.
Same height.
The same height.
They are not the same weight. There's no way. Like, McKinnon's got to have like 30 pounds on him.
He has 15 pounds on him, according to their stats.
I don't believe that for a second.
It doesn't look like it at all.
Look at them. Trevor Zegras is skinny. Nathan MacKinnon is jacked.
He is jacked.
Yeah, I mean,
that's because he's never allowed sugar into his bloodstream once in his life. But
he's got like 0% body fat, probably.
I couldn't believe
Trevor Zegras reads small to me.
He does. I hear. He looks skinnier. He just looks a lot smaller. But you know, ultimately, MacKinnon doesn't need to do that there. He doesn't need to do that to him.
No.
It was an unnecessary penalty from a guy who's had an unbelievable year. He's now up to 49 points in 29 games played.
For sure.
It's just a ridiculous hockey player. I am so envious of one person, well, many people, but Nathan MacKinnon is like the dream, right? But yeah, man, like giving Zegras that opportunity should feel like oh, you messed up now.
That's the thing. It should. I mean, I was thinking to myself, oh, this is going in. Like, there's no way it's not going in because he's so ridiculous at the shootout. And while obviously, like, the game situation is different, it's the exact same thing that you're doing.
Right.
You're all by yourself. You're going in on goal. You should be able to score. And for some reason, he can't seem to do it. Obviously, it's an incredibly small sample size, but it's just weird to me that he's over 3 on penalty shots, but is an absolute cheat code in a shootout.
It's so bizarre. Like, I don't understand it at all.
Would have been cool if he tied it, though.
Does it have something to do with the game situation? Like, this is one of the things I want to ask Charlie when he comes on.
Yeah.
Because, like, I feel like we need to get Petey on at some point to analyze this because like somebody smarter than me needs to tell me why Trevor Zegras.
Yeah, like is there more pressure in a penalty shot situation than in a shootout shot? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he can't get himself in that zone because he just kind of like saunters up like, all right, yeah.
Also, like, I guess maybe like you're coming right off of a shift. Like, obviously you just got kind of like mugged by somebody. That's why you're getting a penalty shot. Like, maybe that kind of factors into it.
He can't focus his chi. That's what I've decided. He can't focus his chi enough to get in there.
I feel strongly that Trevor Zegras is a very vibes-based human.
He is a vibes-based
human. The vibes
human.
are different during a penalty shot.
I swear I didn't run into him, but I passed by him walking by South Street one day, and you could just tell the vibes just by walking by.
I just feel like Sublime songs are playing in his head all the time.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like. He's just bobbing like, I don't practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we got that cleared, so I'm not going to continue. But we also don't need to hear me sing. It's not karaoke time. But yeah, I mean, overall, like, you want to see maybe a little bit more out of the Zegras line, but Christian Dvorak ends up with 3 shots. So Dvorak, I think, had a pretty noticeable game for the most part. He gets an assist on the day. And then the other member of that line today is Travis Konecny, who had 8 shots. So, Zegras wasn't getting the shots because TK was taking all of them.
Yeah, I guess, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, that's a good problem to have right there. So, yeah, I guess that line did a lot. One of the guys who really did not have a noticeable game and I thought was going to have a lot more shots today was Matvei Michkov, who I hate to get into the time on ice discussion.
Oh, I'd love to.
Outside of fourth liners, Matvei Michkov had the lowest amount of ice time for forwards at 14:25, which is even less than Nikita Grebenkin, who gets 14:53.
And that's with him being on the ice for the final 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah. And that's, I really... I don't want to keep talking about this. And he does end up with like 21 shifts. So he gets 20 plus shifts overall. But man, like, this is just going to keep coming up until something happens. But Tyson Foerster's out. Can we not find a little slab of time to stick Matvei Michkov in there a little bit more? And again, I know he didn't have his best game. He did not end up with a ton of shots on the game. I think does he even get credit? He didn't get credited with any. I could have sworn I saw a shift where he had 2 shots, but maybe neither of them landed. So he had some attempts, but overall, not a noticeable game for Matvei Michkov. A real bummer. I wish they could find a way for him to get more ice time. Grebenkin, I think it's interesting that he ends up with more ice time today. Grebenkin had a weird game because he had times where he was making really fun, noticeable plays.
He stripped McKinnon of the puck at one point, I believe.
Yeah, but then he'll like strip a guy of the puck, and then he'll make just a bonehead pass like 10
does nothing
seconds
with
later.
it. Yeah, right. Yeah, he's a real mixed bag of a player. I mean, like, just to get back to Michkov for a second, I do feel like we're in a bit of a chicken egg situation here, where it's like, perhaps Matvei Michkov would play better if Matvei Michkov was getting more ice time. And then it's like, well, you can't give him more ice time because he's not playing better. But I mean, you can if you wanted to. And honestly, if I'm coaching the Philadelphia Flyers, I want to give Matvei Michkov as many opportunities as possible to show me what he can do. And unless he's actively hurting the team, and you're right, he didn't have an outstanding game tonight, but I don't think there was any point at which I was like, ooh, what's he doing there? Like, he didn't really actively hurt the team on the ice, I don't think, tonight. So it would be nice, especially as you said, with Tyson Foerster out of the lineup, you have minutes to give. You don't give them to Grebenkin. That's not the guy that you give them to. You give them to your better players. Yeah,
I'm in agreement there. And we are going to go ask Charlie about that in a couple minutes. But before we get to Charlie, let's hit our second ad break. Are you ready for the ultimate Flyers getaway? PHLY and Philly Sports Trips are taking the diehards west for the California takeover with Flyers legend John LeClair. It's March 17th to the 22nd. We're hitting the West Coast for 2 huge games. First, the Anaheim Ducks at Honda Center, then the LA Kings at Crypto.com Arena. Your package includes optional round-trip direct flights from Philly, a 5-night stay at the beautiful Sanborn, Santa Monica, group tickets to both games, a Flyers watch party, and an exclusive meet and greet with John LeClair. Plus, the Philly Sports Trips crew will be there to handle every detail, so you can just enjoy the sun, the sights, and the hockey. This is the California vacation every Flyers fan dreams of, with a couple of wins to top it off. Spots are limited. Book your trip today at allphly.com/events. Let's talk about Rothman Orthopedics. If joint or muscle pain is keeping you from doing the things you enjoy, whether it's walking the dog, working out, or just moving comfortably through your day, it's time to get the care you deserve. At Rothman Orthopedics, you'll find expert treatment for injuries and chronic conditions alike, with personalized care focused on helping you move better sooner. Rothman's 190-plus fellowship-trained physicians specialize in specific areas of the body and a multitude of orthopedic services, including hip, knee, spine, foot and ankle, you name it. Rothman proudly serves dozens of communities across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Florida with 30-plus convenient offices, urgent cares, and walk-in centers. Visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY to schedule your appointment. Rothman Orthopedics, your mobility, our mission. All right, now joining us on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line, it's Philadelphia's #1 mustache and #1 hockey beat reporter, Charlie O'Connor.
I am ascending. I'm losing my mind right now.
This has got to be every time. We gotta
Charlie,
get the real
you look
deal.
beautiful.
Oh, majestic.
There
Charlie?
we go. Glad you like.
Go ahead.
Folks in the
Anyway.
chat, please, I hope you're doing screen grabs right now. Sorry.
All right, Charlie, what are your thoughts on the game and initial reactions?
Yeah, I think my initial thought on the game is that, look, they were in a good spot here against the Avalanche in the sense that the Avalanche played yesterday and they played 2 nights before, so it was the 3rd game in 4 nights. So I'm not going to give them, the biggest pat on the back in the world for dominating in the 3rd period against what was very clearly a tired team. So I'm not going to go, overboard here with the moral victories thing. But my hope in this game, more than anything else, was I don't want them to embarrass themselves. I want them to give a good showing. I want them to skate mostly with a team that we know on paper is significantly better than the Flyers, especially with the defense weaker than expected due to the absence of Cam York. And I guess Rasmus Lindin for that matter. So there are two starters out. And they did that. They did not embarrass themselves. They obviously go down. They go down 2 goals in the 2nd period. They come back. They cut the lead to 1. And then in the 3rd period, there were multiple opportunities, legitimate opportunities. They had to tie that game. Now, they didn't do it. But again, they're not as good as the Avalanche. We all know this. So I'm not going to kill them for it. I think they were fine. I think they had a fine game. It's not a game that I think anybody should be angry about because we all know how good Colorado is. But I'm also not going to be like, oh man, what a great loss. Like, I don't know. You did have them on the ropes in the 3rd period and you couldn't find a way. And I'm sure that's frustrating to them. It's frustrating to the fans. I get that. But they didn't embarrass themselves. They hung with a team that is better than them. So I'm also not going to give them too much grief as well.
Team not embarrassing. Let's go. All right. All about that. But one nice moment, Sean Couturier opens up the game on his birthday, 900th game, scores a goal. That was a nice moment. Any thoughts on Couturier here?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think he was fantastic the rest of the game, but I give him a ton of credit for trying to go out there and set the tone. I mean, they have a few really good shifts. By they, I mean the Flyers have a few really good shifts to start this game. Noah Juulsen bombs a shot from the point. And Couturier just does a really smart play. Just angles the stick in a way that it's a deflection goal. Had a big celebration afterwards. Always nice to see a guy score a goal on his birthday as well. But I give Couturier credit. That's the kind of play that a captain makes when you're going into a game where you are very clearly the underdog. Everybody knows how good Colorado is. And he carries the load early in the game, gets them that early lead. My frustration point, and this isn't directed necessarily at Couturier, it's just directed at the Flyers, is that then as the 3rd period progresses, they let the Avalanche play their game. They let the Avalanche take control. You have the momentum. You get the early goal. Your first 4, 5, 6 shifts are all really good. You're hemming them in their own zone, and then you just let it slip. And that was one thing that Couturier said after the game. He was the one that was the most open and honest about it. He was like, look, I just think there were stretches in this game, not the whole game, but there were stretches in this game where he felt like they just gave Colorado too much respect. That when they were playing forward, when they were playing aggressive, they could control play against this team. They aren't, look, everyone knows Colorado's better than the Flyers, but number one, the Flyers have to go into a game believing that they can hang with the team. And number two, the Flyers are better. They are a better team than they have been. Are they an elite team? No, but I think they're better. There's a reason why they have a winning record and they're in the playoff mix. They're not a bad team anymore. They're not the team they were last year. If they play their best, they can outplay Colorado. Maybe not for a 60-minute game, but for stretches. There were points in this game, I would say the second half of the first period and a lot of the second period, even though they do eventually get the one goal from Konecny, where they just kind of appeared to be watching and marveling at the Avalanche as opposed to trying to push the play and control the game. Now, in the third period, they certainly benefited from the fact that Colorado was probably a bit gassed. But that's what they did in the third. They pushed, they attacked, and that's what they weren't doing for long stretches of the first and the second, and I think that hurt them.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there, and it is a bummer that they lost this game because this could have been a big win and get some momentum for this team. So there were some interesting lineup decisions today. You can talk about Seeler, you can talk about Delorier, but I think the most interesting one is that Ersson gets the start over Vladar in this game. Any thoughts on that decision?
Yeah, it surprised me. It seems like, and look, there may be other machinations going on behind the scenes, but Rick Taka was asked the question after the game, like, why did you go with Sam Ersson for the second straight game? And his answer was, he played really well the last game. I thought he deserved it, and he thought he played pretty well tonight. Now, it is true that Ersson had a strong game the last time he was out, and Vladar didn't have that strong of a game the last time he was out. In my mind, though, like, that's a little bit of recency bias. Like, I am probably a bigger believer in Ersson than most. But to me, in this game, especially coming after 3 days off, you go with the better performing goalie. And the better performing goalie this season significantly has been Dan Vladar. Not necessarily because I think Ersson has been horrific, but I think Vladar has been actively great. And Ersson has been, somewhere between disappointing and okay. And I think tonight, overall, he was okay. I don't like the goal he gives up to Brent Burns in the first. I think that went a long way towards blunting the momentum they had in the early going. Rewatching the goal, because the second goal, the one off the end boards, whatever, that's chaos. Like, okay, yeah, I guess he could have covered it, but it was kind of a mess. Rewatching the third goal, originally I thought that was a bad goal. It does look like that's a flex in off of Zamula. Still wish you could get a save there, but okay, I'll grant that one. But I thought the second half of the game, he was very good. He made a bunch of really tough saves. There were some breakaways, some semi breakaways. He got some luck, got some help from the post on a couple plays too. But overall, I think the Avalanche, by natural stat trick, added up to a little over 3 expected goals. They scored 3 goals. Ersson delivered a fine overall performance, but against a team like the Avalanche, if you want to pull the upset, you probably need more than fine, and I think Vladar was more likely to deliver a more than fine performance. So that's sort of where I stand, but Taka basically said, look, Ersson played well last game, thought he deserved it. So unless he's papering over something else that's going on, which, I mean, you can believe that, but there's no reason to think it was anything more than that. It really was just that Vladar wasn't that great last time out. Ersson was great last time out. So let's go with that guy and hope he can build off of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the guys who had a noticeable game has actually a rough first period, but after that, Travis Konecny has a pretty big game, ends up with 8 shots on goal credited to him. He has that big goal, almost gets another one. What did you think about TK's game today?
Yeah, it's so tough because he was so rough in the first, and you can't just erase that. Like, he was bad in the first. He had a lot of turnovers. He has the failed clear on the power play goal and the lead up to that by the Avalanche. So all those things happen. But and even in the second and third, he was making some mistakes with the puck. He threw some pucks away. He had some turnovers, but he was just making so many plays that you have to, I guess, in aggregate, say that this was a good game for Travis Konecny. I guess in a way, it was just a very Travis Konecny game because we all know he's a merchant of chaos. That's just what he is. He does things. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, but the bet with Travis Konecny is that over the course of 60 minutes, over the course of 82 games, he's going to, in aggregate, help you a lot more than he hurts you. The first period, he hurt the Flyers. He did not play well. Second period, he scores the big goal. He nearly scored like 2 or 3 others, missed the net in a couple plays, but he was buzzing constantly. I thought that the Dvorak Zegras TK line was by far the Flyers' best line in this game, and he was a big part of it. So yeah, Konecny, weird game, but in aggregate, I think he was a net positive for the Flyers. Obviously scores that big goal in the second as well.
So someone who had kind of an overall good game, I think, was Emil Andrae. I thought he was pretty impressive all game long. Was there anything in particular that stood out for you?
Yeah, no, I loved Emil Andrae's game. I thought he was, and I specifically asked Rick Tocchet about Emil Andrae after the game because obviously they're frustrated. You know, Tocchet's frustrated. He wanted to win this game. The team's frustrated. But I wanted to ask him what he felt of Andrae's game because I loved Andrae's game. He was making so many plays. He was carrying the puck through the middle of the ice. He was making plays in the offensive zone. And Tocchet raved about him. He said, "Look, all game he was getting what they call the good ice, which is basically my interpretation of what the good ice is like skating to open ice, getting to dangerous areas, not just playing around the perimeter. He was taking risks and they were calculated risks. But what I loved the most about it was that this was a game and Sean Couturier, the captain of the team, straight up admitted he feels like the team at times were a little deferential to the Avalanche. They maybe respected them a little too much. I didn't get one hint of a sense that Emil Andrae played this game with any fear. He was not going out there being like, oh man, we're playing the Avalanche, got to play it safe, got to take care with the puck. No, he saw this game as like we're playing the Avalanche. Okay, now I'm going to make some plays. And I love that mentality. Look, I've been an Emil Andrae fan for a long time, and that's part of the reason why I'm a fan of his, is because he doesn't play with fear. His mistakes are not because he backed up. His mistakes are because he tried to do something and it didn't work. And I'll take those kinds of players over Andrew McDonald's any day of the week. And I felt like this game was a perfect example. Like if everyone would have played with the confidence and the assertiveness of Emil Andrae, I think the Flyers win this game. And I think Rick Tocchet would agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great game. He's just so noticeable in the offensive zone in a way that none of the other defensemen are, and a lot of the forwards aren't. So he's just a great asset. I'm glad he's sticking with the team right now. So Trevor Zegras, shootout master, absolute shootout master, penalty shots, 0 for 3 now. What is the deal with that?
What's the deal?
It's a fascinating question. I feel like that's not a question you ask a guy, maybe not even on the record. You ask him like after a practice, it's like, Trevor, what the heck is up with you in penalty shots? I mean, the only thing I could think of is that he overthinks it. That maybe it's that the shootouts just come so naturally to him. He goes in with confidence because he knows how good he's been at them. And because he hasn't scored a penalty shot goal yet at the NHL level, maybe he's just in his own head a little bit. I mean, that shot of him on the bench with his head down on the boards, first off, iconic. Like what a screenshot. We're going to get so much use out of that in terms of Flyers Twitter memes, Flyers Blue Sky memes, to be sure. But that maybe speaks to it, is that he's putting a little bit extra pressure on himself as opposed to what he does in the shootout because he hasn't yet scored an NHL penalty shot goal. It doesn't make any sense. I think I tweeted out, like, make it make sense, because it doesn't make any sense that a guy with that skill level would be such a, so good at shootouts, but then 0 for 3 so far in his career on the penalty shot. You have to think he's gonna score one eventually. And I will say, look, obviously would have loved him to score on the penalty shot. Wasn't that great of an attempt, but man, getting that penalty shot, I mean, he's got Nathan MacKinnon on his back, and I mean, he still gets a quality opportunity even before the penalty shot. Like, that's another example of Trevor Zegras getting a bum rap in this league. Like, this is not, look, he's a skill player. He obviously has the talent. He's not going to be throwing hits like he's Tom Wilson or Sam Bennett. But this is not a soft player. For no matter what you hear from people from the outside, this is not a soft player. This is a guy who's willing to battle through contact to make plays. And you saw it on that breakaway that he turned into the penalty shot.
Chuck, you want to talk about Matvei Michkov's ice time?
What was his ice time in this game? I honestly haven't checked.
No one got fewer minutes than him besides the fourth line.
On the 1425. He got slightly less than Grebenkin, who got 1453.
14-25. Yeah, I mean, I really like the shift that he had late in regulation.
Yes.
It was a shift where he probably should have drawn a penalty. Looked to me like that was that was a trip, but he doesn't. But he almost draws it by doing really good things with the puck. Then he has a really good defensive play to break up a scoring chance opportunity by back checking well, and then he goes back up ice, helps the Flyers create the opportunity for another chance. I don't think this is one of Michkov's best games, but could he have stood for a few more shifts? Yeah, probably. My guess, if I'm gonna play a little bit like of armchair psychologist, armchair GM, whatever, my assumption is that this really just comes down to the lack of defensive trust that Tocchet has in him, and that he's afraid that if he throws Michkov out for extra shifts, that he's going to have to face off against guys like McKinnon, guys like Necas, and that those guys will be able to exploit Michkov defensively because he's still a work in progress in that regard. I would have liked to have seen him with more shifts in the third, especially given the fact that they were pushing so well that they really weren't playing defense. They were basically on the attack constantly. And honestly, like Michkov, okay, yeah, I would have liked to have seen him with like 16 minutes. My bigger frustration point in this game, if we're going to talk about ice time, is I don't know why, and I know that they didn't get a ton, but I don't know why you're seeing the fourth line out there,
Yes.
especially like 5 minutes left in the third, and you're putting
Down
a
a
line
goal.
on the ice.
It's insane.
No exaggeration. Like, this is not an exaggeration. This is an accurate fact. The fourth line has yet to score a goal this season. This was the 27th game. The only goals that fourth liners have scored for the Flyers this year have been either when they were up the lineup, like Grebenkin playing on the third line, or Abels has a goal that he scored when there were still residual players left from like a top 9 line on the ice with him. There is yet to be a goal scored by the Flyers this season by the fourth line when all 3 members of the fourth line are on the ice. I don't know why you feel the need to get them on the ice with 5 minutes left when you're trailing a goal. Use that as an opportunity to get Michkov out there for one more shift. I'm not saying I want Michkov getting 20 minutes at this point. I get it. He's still a work in progress in some ways, and this is a tough team to play against. But maybe a couple more shifts instead of the fourth line that after 27 games is not going to score a goal. Yeah, that to me seems reasonable.
Yeah, it's just so frustrating at this point. What can you even say about it? Any updates on Cam York? He was definitely missed today.
Yeah, he was. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's terribly serious. I guess my concern at this point is I really hope it's not a concussion. Because they didn't reveal right the day of the injury. They were just like, he's out for the rest of the game. And sometimes that's like, oh, well, if you're kind of being dodgy, maybe there's a concussion, then he gets the day-to-day designation. We haven't seen him at practice since the injury. I'm crossing my fingers that it's not going to be super serious. It doesn't seem like the Flyers think it's super serious, but they're playing a lot of games over the next 2 weeks. They got 4 games this week. They got 4 games next week. So if this lingers, yeah, you're going to be stuck with Juulsen and Zamula in the lineup. And one line that I'm going to highlight in my article, because Tocchet was specifically asked about that third pair of Juulsen and Zamula. They were on the ice for 2 goals against. And Tocchet was very coach diplomatic in terms of his evaluation. He basically said, and this is like the epitome of damning with faint praise by a head coach at the NHL level, they're trying. They're trying. Well, they're trying, and they're not really succeeding. Look, I know Ristolainen is on his way back. I'm hopeful that maybe he can be back as soon as next week. And then when Cam York comes back, you're figuring, okay, now you can maybe pull both Juulsen and Zamula out of the lineup, and you get the defense group that is their 6th most talented defenseman, including Emil Andrae, after a game like this. I mean, I don't think he's, I don't think he's closing in on losing his spot in the lineup. If anything, might even stay in the top 4 once Ristolainen's back. But I do think that, you gotta look towards getting guys like Zamula and Juulsen out of the lineup as soon as possible. Ristolainen would obviously replace Juulsen's skill set, and then Zamula, man, I mean, he had some rough shifts in this game.
Yeah, he had some rough shifts. What did you think about the
Stinks.
decision to put Seeler on the top pair to start this game?
I mean, I didn't love it, but also I'm not really sure if you have a better option. Like, I guess you could go Sanheim Drysdale, I guess. But I don't know how much I trust Drysdale getting the toughest minutes every single shift against Nathan McKinnon either. I just think this is an example of the Flyers just not having the horses. Like, for you to really be able to match up the way you want to match up against Colorado, you got to have Cam York in the lineup because they have one guy really in Travis Sanheim with Cam York out who's capable of taking these minutes. They shuffled it around. It wasn't just Seeler getting minutes with Sanheim. There was Zamula had some minutes with him, so they did shuffle it a little bit. But I don't love Seeler with Sanheim in this situation, but I also wouldn't love Drysdale with Sanheim in this situation or Andre with Sanheim in this situation. I just think you're kind of stuck where you got a lot of bad options when Cam York can't play, especially when you're facing a team this good.
What's the least bad option of the bunch? I love to be in that position right there. Any other thoughts before we get the 3 stars, Charlie?
Not really. I think I like what I'm seeing from that Konecny Zegras Dvorak line. I know they didn't score, late in the game when they were buzzing, but man, they were buzzing. That's an exciting line to me. So I'm hoping they keep that together for an extended period of time. And I thought that the Couturier, Tippett, Michkov line had moments too. So crossing my fingers that those two lines can start to build something over these next couple weeks.
Yeah, tough matchup today. And again, I'm glad they had some fight in them, but overall, you want them to do more with a tired team and just didn't take advantage. All right, Charlie, it is time for your 3 stars of the game. Hit us with star number 3.
Yeah, they're all 3 guys we talked about. And the 3rd star I'm going to give to Travis Konecny. Maybe you look at his numbers and you might think he deserves to be higher than 3rd star, but I can't erase the fact that he was actively bad in the first period. So that keeps him below the other 2 guys. Look, I love the fact that he's making plays. I liked what I saw in the 2nd and 3rd, and I want to see more of that version of Konecny being active, buzzing, bringing energy. But we just need to see less of the guy from the first period. That guy's a liability, and we know that Konecny's going to make mistakes because of the way he plays. He plays a risky game. Just needs to do a little bit better job of risk management, especially against a team that's good. But in the end, in aggregate, he had a overall good game, even if the lows were quite low. So I'm still giving him 3rd star, but I wish I could put him higher up on this list had he not had the first period that he had.
Tied that game up, he'd probably be star number 1, but alas,
Probably.
we are in the universe we're in. Who is star number 2?
Star number 2, I'm going with Sean Couturier for everything I said earlier that, he sets the tone early. He gets the goal against a team that the Flyers are big underdogs against. Was he fantastic the rest of the game? No, I don't think he was fantastic, but really just on the strength of that early shift, that early push. Yeah, I think Couturier deserves star number 2. There weren't a ton of obvious standouts for the Flyers, but I'll give Couturier number 2 on this one.
Hey, birthday boy, gotta love it. Who is star number 1?
Yeah, star number 1, I think it was a runaway. I think Emil Andrae was the best player on the ice for the Philadelphia Flyers. And that's a really encouraging thought because, look, we all like Emil Andrae, we all like his potential, but he's still a second pair defenseman on this team. It's cool to see a second pair defenseman step up against an opponent as good as the Colorado Avalanche are. Loved what I saw on Andrae. I mean, he was making plays with the puck. He made a really good play without the puck, breaking up a mini breakaway from Russ Colton in the 3rd period. So he was doing things, not just attacking offensively. He was playing well defensively. Just a strong all-around game from Emil Andrae. Really like what I saw. And he had the stretch pass to set up the Travis Konecny goal. So he picked up a primary assist on the night as well. Great game by Emil Andrae. I want to see more.
Love what we're seeing out of Emil Andrae. He was definitely the most noticeable guy out on the ice for the Flyers today. So in full agreement there. Thank you so much, Charlie. We'll talk to you soon.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Hope you all enjoyed the mustache. And Steve Kelly, thanks so much for holding down the fort today in Bill's absence.
Oh, our pleasure. And the mustache is fantastic. Great job right there.
Enjoy is not the word.
We got to see the real deal at some point.
I sincerely hope that Charlie looked at himself in the mirror and thought, like, this is a new beginning for me.
I'm
a new man now.
You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it. All right, we got a little bit more Flyers talk for you guys. But before we do, let's hit our last ad break. Everybody's got their favorite hard tea. But have you ever turned the can to read what's in it? You can't because they don't tell you. And while they hide what's inside, Crooked Tea brags about it. Crooked Tea brews real USDA organic tea for real flavor with 0 sugar. No fake junk hiding behind the label. What you see is what you drink. Next time you're at the store, flip the can. If you can't find the ingredients, just put it back. Then grab a Crooked Tea, 0 sugar, real tea, and fully transparent. You know it, Philly. Real recognizes real, so why drink the fake stuff? Crooked Tea. The only thing better is a strip sack in the Super Bowl. Visit crookedtea.com to find a store near you. Let's talk about Monarch. We all know the holidays can be tough between Secret Santa, traveling, hosting, you name it. It's easy to lose sight of your money and financial responsibility at this time of year. If you want to keep your finances under control this holiday season, you need to be using Monarch. Rated Wall Street Journal's best budgeting app of 2025, Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean interface on your laptop or on your phone. And right now, just for our listeners, Monarch is offering 50% off your first year. Realizing how easy it is to blow through my holiday budget without a central place to track everything in real time, Monarch helps you stay informed so nothing slips through the cracks. It isn't just another finance app. It's a tool that real professionals and experts actually love. No more guessing, no more hiding, no more, I didn't realize we spent that much. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code PHLY at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code PHLY. All right, we are in the stretch run here, and that's it's funny because this guy's been pretty sung at this point, but
Charlie sung him a little bit.
we're gonna do our unsung hero presented by Togo. And Togo is the leader in operations outsourcing. Let Togo handle the work that gets in the way of your work. You call the plays, we execute. Emil Andrae is our unsung hero. And I think the thing why I've chosen for unsung hero in this one is just because TK has the flashy stats, right? He's got the goal, he's got the shots, but Andrae was the guy that you're watching the game. You're actually watching the game, nerds. You're noticing Emil Andrae just buzzing around all game. He's just doing exciting things offensively. He ends up with 21:59 ice time, 1 point. And as you noted here, a +1. And what was the little factoid that goes along with that one, Kelly?
Only defenseman. That was a plus.
Oh, wow.
As Bill Matz points out frequently, plus minus is generally a trash stat. But in certain circumstances, like used surgically, carved out like this, when every single one of your defensemen is either even or a minus, and there's one guy that's a plus, that guy probably did a little something.
The only guy with a minus was?
Who's that?
Igor Zamula.
Hey, that's a shock to me.
Completely shocking. And, we talked about it with Charlie, but, you've got that Juulsen Zamula pairing, which we said in pregame was going to be a disaster, and it was not really, anything but. But then you look over at a guy like Andrae and what he brings. I actually kind of was curious to see him with Sanheim in this game. I think I would have welcomed that, seeing him with Sanheim. But overall, I don't think Seeler-Sanheim was really the problem with this game. You've got more of a problem with Juulsen. I don't even know if the defense as a whole was the problem, because the offense should have done more. I think ultimately that third period, the way they were playing, they gotta tie that game up.
You would have hoped, but let's not forget that the Avalanche, even the tired Colorado Avalanche, are just really freaking good.
They are elite. They're just an unbelievable hockey team, just what they've done this year. Looking at them statistically, we talked about Nathan MacKinnon. Nathan MacKinnon has 49 points, I believe, now in 29 games. And Marty Nichus has 38 points. I forget if he scored today. You've got three guys at 30 plus points at this point. It's just a ridiculously stacked roster.
Yeah, I'm taking it back to Emil Andrae. I'm sorry to go backwards. But one thing that I think is kind of cool about him, since, he was the unsung hero of this game that got sung a bit. I feel like Andrae used to be a guy that, really only the Charlies of the world cared about. The people to whom, cool people would yell, "Watch the game, nerd." Andrae was really the stats guy. But I feel like over the course of this season, especially, I think there was a little bit last season, but over the course of this season, especially, he's becoming, I think, just obviously one of the Flyers' best six defensemen, without question anymore.
I'm in agreement there. We were talking when he initially was sent down to the Phantoms. I was kind of at the position where I was I really like Emil Andrae, but I don't really see what the big deal is, because I didn't see what the future for him with the franchise was. I was almost thinking of him like Samu Tuomaala, who they traded away, because there's literally no role for him here. There's just too many wingers. There's too many cooks. He wasn't going to make it into the mix. And when you look at Emil Andrae, you're like, where is he really? Who is he in the future of this franchise? And he could legitimately be a top four defender because the thing is, they have a young defense, a lot of these guys. Ristolainen's an outlier, but most of these guys are pretty young. I mean, Drysdale, Sanheim's in his prime right now. York is pretty young. So finding roles for these guys, and you also think a lot about Oliver Bonk, who's on his way up. And Emil Andrae has really proven that this is a highly skilled, talented player who has a future with this franchise. It's very exciting.
I think so. I'm a big fan.
Big fan. Big fan. So, all right, folks, we are giving away 10 Flyers Carnival tickets and snap and signs with Cam York and Travis Sanheim, two guys who I just mentioned. We got the guy in the prime.
Good players.
Good players right there. So if you go to allphly.com/Flyers Charities Carnival giveaway, go check that out. This is a very exciting opportunity. The Flyers Carnival, by the way, one of the great events. The Flyers do such a great job for it. It used to be, of course, the Flyers Fight for Lives Carnival, but it's the Flyers Carnival. And I'm so jealous that I didn't go with you guys last year because you had so many great interviews. I believe Wayne Simmons was one of them last year, right?
Yeah.
Because Bill had to bail on that one. I got texts. I slept in that day and I woke up and I'm like, oh, I could have interviewed Wayne Simmons. I was so mad. I was so mad at myself for selfishly sleeping in that day. But the Flyers Carnival is fantastic. So go check that out right away. All right, before we end the show, let's take a look at the upcoming schedule and see some of the challenges the Flyers have in the next couple weeks of hockey. So if we look right here, the Flyers have beaten, so they lost that game against the Penguins. They beat the Sabres. They lost the Avalanche today. The next up on the schedule is San Jose Sharks, which is a great possible bounce back game for the Flyers.
It sure is. That's a game that they should definitely win. I mean, the Sharks obviously have some very good young players, but on the whole, they're not a team as good as the Flyers. So the Flyers should absolutely take that opportunity to kind of take it to San Jose and really get some swagger back after this loss.
And I think you got to put Dan Vladar back in the net there.
Oh, you have to.
Giving him 2 games off.
Although, to be fair,
you
kind of need Vladar against the Knights and the Hurricanes, I feel.
Yeah, well, but the thing is the Hurricanes are back-to-back because what's not shown on here is that's a home and home with Carolina, which is really rough. A Saturday, Sunday, home and home in Philadelphia and Raleigh is just, I don't know why the NHL schedule makers hate us like they do.
They really do.
They truly hate it. And I'm not even talking us as the Flyers. I'm talking us here at PHLY
Steve and I
us
personally
work these games.
Yeah.
Kelly and I are going to flip coins on those games right there. But
I don't go here anymore.
You don't go here anymore. Kelly's just retreating back into the hedges like Homer Simpson right now. But yeah, that's a tough decision in net. But I'm looking at the standings right now. The San Jose Sharks, while better than last year, they have 29
very low
points
bar to clear, Steve.
They are a 500 team pretty much. Actually,
that.
their winning percentage is 500 exactly.
Wow.
They are 13-13-3, 29 points. So San Jose's better, but that's a game you absolutely need to win, especially if you have Vegas, Carolina after that. Like you can't go through these 2 weeks and not have any points or just have like a point or two. Like you really need to get 2 points in that game.
Yeah, because that's really the one I guess I would say guarantee that you have.
Yeah.
Those other 3 games, I don't think most people are going to expect you to win them.
No.
Yeah, and so obviously
my no really was just like
emphatically no.
Vegas, Vegas is in 8th overall in the NHL. They've got 34 points in 27 games. Carolina, 36 points in 27 games. They're 4th overall in the NHL. These are just darn good hockey teams right here.
They're pretty good. Yeah, now I'm thinking way too hard about this goaltender situation, like who you're going to play in these games. I almost think maybe you give Ersson the Sharks.
Give Ersson the Sharks and then give Vladar the first Vegas.
Vladar gets 2 or 3.
The Vegas game and the first Carolina game, and then Ersson gets the road Carolina game.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I kind of think that's how I would go.
That's a decent plan.
It's absolutely not what they're going to do because I just make things up. No one ever does what I do.
Well, if they listened to us, they wouldn't have had Seeler on the top pairing today. Delorier wouldn't have been in the lineup.
What do we know?
What do we know? We don't do.
We thought they were going to lose heartily.
We watch this team every day, and we did think they were going to lose
a little
heartily. And they only lost by 1 goal. Who would have thought? But yeah, this is going to be a tough week ahead. They need to just kick butt in that San Jose game. That is a must win.
For sure.
Yeah. Vegas, I don't know a ton about the Vegas Golden Knights this year.
The Western Conference doesn't exist to me.
The Western Conference doesn't exist at all. I know Jack Eichel's fantastic.
He's
and,
good.
They got some other bums on that team we don't need to talk about. But,
Almost future Flyer Jack Eichel, but then he decided to sign a contract.
well, everybody decided to sign. The free agent market is just completely devastated for the Flyers right now. And I'm just trying to think what else we should really mention from the game that we just watched today. I mean, it's a bummer that they couldn't pull it out. And I just don't know what else they could have done besides just score some goals. I mean, going back to the Michkov conversation that we had with Charlie, I think you really do have to find some more minutes for him. And
You have to.
I'm tired of talking about it. I think we're all exhausted with talking about Matvei Michkov's ice time at this point. But you have to find more ways to get him into the game and use him more. And I would say this is maybe Rick Tocchet's major failing as the head coach of the Flyers so far. Because overall, I think Tocchet's done a really good job. But the Michkov just usage so far and the fourth line usage has been a big problem. I mean, we were talking about the fourth line just getting offensive zone draws.
Don't do
general.
that.
Why do you keep doing that? Why do you
Don't do
keep
that.
giving the fourth line offensive zone draws when they're not going to do anything with it? It's useless.
Yeah.
I'd rather have the most tired guy from the top 9 out there than anybody on the fourth line. And what are we going to do about this fourth line? Like Garnet Hathaway, who we all like.
What's up with him?
We all love Garnet Hathaway.
Yeah.
He's done nothing this year.
No,
we need him to do something. And I don't know why Tocchet doesn't. I know it's maybe a thing with just the overall locker room mood and atmosphere, but I feel like you have to scratch him at some point, even if it's just to give him a break, because I don't know what's up with him. But usually by this point in the season, he's potted a couple goals or something, and he's really just hitting guys. That's all he's been doing.
Yeah, that's the thing. The fourth line last year was so good. I mean, obviously they weren't any kind of elite talent, but as a fourth line, they were pretty good. Both at, shutting down the other team when needed and also putting in some goals when necessary, and they brought a lot of energy. I do think that there's a fourth line to be made with the players available to Rick Tocchet that is better than the one currently constructed. I would like to see him try some stuff to see if we can get somewhere where, the fourth line's never going to be really, really good, but every now and again they can score a goal. Every now and again they can knock something in. And this current construction is never going to do that. They're never going to accidentally score a goal. They're just not good. And I feel like we can do better. And the problem is, and this is something, not to get off on a Rick Tocchet tangent, but we've talked about this I've talked about this with the boys 100 times. It seems that Rick Tocchet has decided that winning games is more important than developing players, which is how you end up with Matvei Michkov getting the fourth fewest minutes on the team among forwards. That's not good. We got to do better.
We got to do better. The old Andy Reid quote right there. We got to do a better job. You really do. Looking at it today, the only forwards without shots today, I still don't understand how Michkov didn't get a shot. I thought he had 3 or 4 shifts where he should have had a shot. It doesn't make any sense. But the only forwards without shot are Michkov and the fourth line. Well, no, it's Grebenkin doesn't end up with it either. I guess Rodrigo Abels ended up with a shot at some point. But Garnet Hathaway, 0 shots in 9:20 on ice. Nick Delorier, 0 shots in 7:58. Really glad he played over Grundstrom in there, which I know Grundstrom's not a great player, but
Throw him out there, see what happens.
Throw him out there, see what happens.
I will say, the main takeaway from this game for me is that this Flyers team, while not the most talented and definitely not a finished product, is not bad. Like Charlie said, this is not a bad team anymore.
It's a pretty good hockey team.
This is a team that can hang with a team that's on a ridiculous all-time pace right now in the Colorado Avalanche. I don't know if anyone's taken a look at their goal differential. It's insane. They're out of control. And the Flyers hung with them. So say what you will about this team, but they're coming along pretty nicely. And if they can improve at a few, key spots, I think we're looking at something pretty good here.
In complete agreement there, Kelly. Colorado's a plus 49 on the season, number 1 in goals for,
Plus 49.
and number 1 in goals against. So, pretty darn good hockey team right there.
They were only plus 1 tonight, fam. They were not plus 49 tonight.
No,
how
they
about
were
that?
not.
Your Philadelphia
No, they were
Flyers.
not. All right, folks. Well, that's it. That's all there is. Thank you so much for joining us today on PHLY Flyers. Bill will be back with everybody shortly. So we made it, Kelly. We did it.
Look at us.
All right. Look at us right
Who'da
here.
thought?
Like Paul Rudd right there.
Not me.
All right, folks. Well, thank you so much. And until next time, in the words of Bill and Bill, be excellent to one another.
We all silly like the mayor.